Welcome back. So, let's talk Battle Pass weapons. There's only about a day left of the sale, but I was asked to put up a video about these, and I will impart what knowledge I have. I don't have all of them, I have a lot of them, and I'll only be able to show some of them. So we're going to start with Germany since I'm on Germany. There's some things that aren't shown here, the Conders being the most notable one. So we'll go through all of these, then I'll mention the Condors, then I'll show them off, and then we'll show off some of the other nations. So, starting with the Pavesi M41. I have one of these. I actually really like it. I know the recoil looks a little bit high, and the magazine might be a little bit small for some people. It used to be a Tunisia weapon. I haven't really used it a whole lot since the merge because it's BR3. And I haven't played a whole lot of BR3 Germany. I played a lot of 2 and a lot of 5. I think it's still alright. I wish it was a 2. I think it would fit there better. It does do a lot of damage, though. I think that's really the draw to it, is you get a decent chunk of damage. It's not bad. I might consider holding off on picking it up unless you plan on playing a lot of BR3. Mostly because I think there are more competitive weapons than this one at different BRs, because BR3 is a little bit scuffed right now, just because it plays up and down. People do tell me, though, that because there's a ton of BR5 German players that you get to play down a lot. I just haven't personally gotten to test it a whole lot, so don't know. The VMP 26. The biggest turnoff to me with this is that it's rank 4. Especially because they describe it as being the predecessor to the MP38 and the MP40 that are both BR2. Still, 6.8 damage is respectable. I'm pretty sure that's the starting damage of the Thompson, something like that. And it fires at 690 rounds a minute. 3210's not bad, it's going to be controllable. 40 round magazine's not bad either. If you like the gun, like if it's something that's interesting to you, it's probably not a bad pickup. But if you look at what it's competing against around rank 4, you're looking at like Beretta M38s. So they have better recoil. They also have 40 rounds. They fire 90 rounds a second slower, and they do a little bit less damage. So this is probably easier to control, and it shoots a little bit slower, and it does a little bit less damage. But if you fully upgrade this, it should be pretty close. Bear in mind, this is a stock weapon, and that, I believe, is a fully upgraded weapon. This one is 3. I don't honestly know if they have any other rank 4 weapons right now. This is a rank 5. These are all rank 5s. These two got moved down, so I think this is the only rank 4 right now. So that's really the main competition for it. I guess you can compare it to rank 5 weapons too, since it's going to compete with them. So obviously there's the big Alpha Chad Omega assault rifle beast to slay them all, the STG-44. So the STG is going to do more damage, have less ammo, and fully upgraded, I think it stays at 650 actually. So a little bit lower fire rate, but yeah, it doesn't gain fire rate. A little bit lower fire rate, a little bit less ammo, hits harder. All in all, good gun. Honestly, probably competes pretty well with it. The MP43 is basically an STG that shoots slower, and the MKB is basically an STG that shoots a lot slower. So, yeah, it's probably a good pickup. Obviously I don't have any, but just because I don't have them doesn't mean that they're bad. There's just a lot of options in Germany. If you have the MP717s, those are also an option, and I think those do less damage, shoot faster, and hold more ammo. So here we have suppressed weapons. It's cool because you get a pair of weapons, and in the past, I'd always heard good things about the Irma EMPs. It is rank 3, though. I think these are more of a novelty weapon. I think it would be cool to get... Let's see, how many can... I don't know if I'm not going to click on it because I don't know if it'll just full send, but usually it'll tell you how many you can get. I assume it's 4. Most weapons it's 4. It would be cool, though, to get a set of these and run an assault squad with suppressed weapons. They're cool. They're a novelty. I personally wouldn't just up and go for them, but if you have gold orders or if you have gold to toss around and you don't know what to do with it, you could probably make a pretty cool squad with those. The artillery Luger is super cool. I don't have one. My buddy Trey has one. He likes it. It does fill your pistol slot. It has a 32 round magazine with a reload. You can pretty much put them on everybody. The stats are a little bit high horizontal recoil, but it's really, really cool. It is semi-auto, though. But this is another one of those novelty items where you pick it up because it's cool. You don't pick it up because you plan on going crazy and carrying the game with it. The Beretta 1918x30, I actually kind of want to get one of these. It's BR1, the damage is 7.2, it's 1917 recoil, it's got kind of a lot of horizontal recoil, but I've picked up my friend's American Smith & W and my other friend's Russian equivalent to this, and both of them have been pretty fun to use, so this could be a fun little knick-knack to throw on at like rank 2. The fire rate's fine. You're really competing with your normal rifles on these. So I think these go on your normal soldiers. Actually, let's see, assaulter, AT gunner, mortarman, medic, radio operator, rider, tanker, rifle. Yeah, okay, so they can go on everybody. It basically competes with rifles. I'm pretty sure it's a pistol caliber carbine, shoots 9mm. Recoil's not great, not terrible. 25 round magazine with 4 reloads. 5 reloads? 4. Whatever. 5 reloads. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I think it would be cool to have one eventually. I don't have one right now, though. It is a neat weapon. The MKB-42W, once upon a time, I think this weapon had tremendous value. So, if this was last year, I would have said buy 4 of them, because you can send them all to Moscow, and you can absolutely tear the place up while you're grinding through Moscow. Or you can send them all to Normandy, and you'd have a very respectable assault squad running around in Normandy. The downside to these is the same downside that you run into with the Tech Tree MKB-42, the H variant. This is the W variant. And that they both fire at 500 rounds a minute. And bear in mind, the recoil stats on this are actually really good, but they're also really good on the Tech Tree one. The issue is, early on, this is going to be an awesome pickup. Like, if you're the kind of player who you don't have the assault line researched, but let's say you picked up the German paratroopers, or you picked up the STG-45 squad, or you picked up the Suomi boys, right? Or let's say you have all 3, and you want to run an assault squad with Tech Tree guys. These guns are actually going to be really good in that case. Just bear in mind, once you get the MP43s, or the Sturmgewehrs, or even the Kierleys, there's a good chance that you're going to stop using these because their fire rate's really low. They're very stable, they're very controllable, they do hit hard. It's just, they don't have the fire rate to compete if you're sitting at the end of the Tech Tree and you have all of the options available to you. But early on, I think this is a really good pickup. And I think that they're kind of cool just because it's an alternative STG variant. I would recommend them if you're playing at rank 5 and you don't have the whole Tech Tree done. As for the Scotty rifle, I actually just picked up one of these like a week or two ago. Um, I've been running it primarily on my APC squad, on the AT guy. I swap it onto him when he goes down to rank 2. I like it. It's really nothing special. It does do decent damage. It's comparable to the Armaguerra, which, let's see, this is 330, 2.6, 8521, 6-round magazine. If we look at the... Actually, you know what? Let's check in here because I might have a fully upgraded Armaguerra just sitting around. I don't, but we can guesstimate. So, this is going to do a little bit less damage. You're going to gain 20%, so... like 2 to 3 damage. So this will be really close in damage to that. The fire rate's 320, but you're going to get a fire rate buff. The recoil is 8424 with a 3.2 second reload, so the reload's a little bit slower. It's probably going to be about the same as using an Armaguerra. The Armaguerra might actually shoot a little bit faster. I think you're really just getting reload speed here. I just picked it up because it was something different to have, and I thought it'd be kind of cool. It's not every day you see a rifle that shoots from an open bolt, and don't ask me why they thought designing an open bolt rifle was a good idea. It makes a lot of sense with like submachine guns if you understand how they function, and you want to make them cheaply. It just seems strange for a rifle. I'd be really curious to shoot one in real life just to see how it feels, because I feel like being open bolt, there might be a delay between pulling the trigger and the gun actually firing, which is... I'm just imagining this in my head. I don't know if that's actually the case, but I feel like it probably has like a really slight delay that might throw you off a little bit when you're firing it. Obviously, that wouldn't be an issue with a submachine gun because you're just holding on the trigger, you know, da 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 da, right? You get the idea. I just think it's cool. I don't really recommend it. The La Salaranta, it's basically like a bar, but at rank 2, and it's cool because it's Finnish. The recoil on it's actually pretty brutal. 4318 doesn't sound bad, but in practice with using it, it feels worse than it reads on paper. The fire rate's 500 rounds a minute. It's not a bad gun. I have 2 of them. I run them on my APC squad. I think they're cool. If you're looking for a BR2 light machine gun that you can be more mobile with, or if you don't really like the MG13 or the Beretta, this is a good option. Most of the BR2 light machine guns are pretty terrible, so... the Beretta, if you're sitting still and you can deploy, it's pretty good, or if you fire it semi-auto, it can be absolutely nasty. The MG13, as long as you're not moving, is pretty good. That's pretty much follows in suit with them. If you're used to using bars, you'll probably be relatively comfortable with this. I'll show it off in a few minutes, and you can make your own opinion about it. I kind of like it. The FN Model 1930, I have, I think, 3 of these. They're pretty awesome. The fire rate's pretty high, and it has an auto slow mode, which it's actually a lot faster shooting than what you would expect with auto slow. Like, if you read auto slow and you think, like, Shao-Shat, no. The Shao-Shat fires very slow. Very slow. This thing, even on auto slow, it still is pumping rounds downrange. It also does a pretty respectable amount of damage. It's a way to get an assault machine gun in the German tree, and I really like that. A lot of the German machine guns perform really, really well, but a lot of them are kind of heavy or cumbersome. They really do well if you can move up and like sit in a position with them, or if you can make a defensive position. They perform really well, but they don't really have a lot of these lightweight, mobile assault light machine guns Like, the Russians and the Americans have a lot of these. Like, the Bren, the Vickers Berthier, the Bars, they're all relatively mobile. Same with, like, the DP-27, the DPM, the DP-29, even the RD-44. They're all pretty mobile machine guns, so getting something like this for the Germans kind of helps to fill a gap. The only thing I wish I could change about it is the carry handle. It takes up a lot of the screen because you're sitting back here the whole time, right? I think if it was offset over here, it might be better, or if it just didn't exist, I might like it a little bit more, but I like the gun. I recommend the gun. It's very good. The Mondragon 1908 is fantastic. It's a BR4 rifle. It's got 20 rounds in it. The problem with it is that you're competing against the FG42 and the FG42 too, and those have an option to go into full auto, and so purely from a competitive standpoint, it's probably not worth it, but I really, really like it. It feels really good to use. If you don't mind using a semi-auto rifle, it's awesome. If the BR matchmaking system changes and rank 4 doesn't see rank 5, then this is every bit as good, probably better than the G43. It does decent damage. The recoil is not terrible. It's got a 20 round detachable magazine, which is really what I think the draw to it is. And it's cool because it's one of these rifles that you don't see all the time. In the description, talks about how it was used by the Mexican military and German Zeppelin crews, so it is cool. Last one that we can see on screen here is the Beretta PGCR. I don't have it. I have picked it up in game. It's very, very good, and when I have another gold order, I want to get one of these. I would actually like to get multiple of these. The problem that I see with it, again, is that it's rank 5, and so you're competing with the FG42-2 and the FG42. But if you have the Kurzgewehr, it's going to be really similar to that. And it has a burst fire mode, so in theory you can just pump the trigger and you can fire it as if it's full auto, so I think it makes it a better competitor to the FG42. It's also just a good looking rifle, so this one gets my recommendation. I can't show you this one, but what I can show you is a Kurzgewehr later, and you'll just have to guesstimate. The last thing that you can't see here is the Conders, and we have Conders right here. The Conders is this weird little pipe gun thing, and it's awesome. It fires at 1150 rounds per minute. It has a 100 round magazine, 6.8 damage. It's actually a submachine gun. It's just a bundle of joy. I have 3 of them on one of my half-track squads, and I've got one of them on the driver of the other. And I highly recommend it. It's probably the best pickup that you can get for the Germans. Going up here, I'd probably go Conders, then I would go the FN or the Beretta. And if you like rank 2 stuff, the Lottie's an option. Situationally, the MKB-42 is an option. Everything else is really just picking it up at your pleasure. So let's check out some of these in the practice tool. So we will start with this squad because they have the Lottie. So this is your Lottie Solaranta. The sights are pretty open. I like them. It's a little bit hard to control on full auto, but it's pretty respectable in semi. In full auto, if you crouch, it's really not that bad. And like pretty much any machine gun, if you deploy it, it can be quite good. Lastly, as I often like to do, we'll do our walking shooting test. So again, you're kind of going to go everywhere, but if there's a squad in front of you or you want to clear a building, it's honestly fine. Then here we have our Conders. Like I said, it's a bit of a pipe gun. It's cool though. Check this out. It does shoot in circles, which is a little bit fun. But even hip firing, it's really not that bad if you want to just clear a room. And you have the benefit of having 100 rounds in it, which is really quite nice. So moving on, let's check out the FN 1930s. So like I said, you have that handle kind of sitting in the middle of your screen. It doesn't really block that much, it's just a little bit annoying. The sights are pretty good on this though. So like I said, the fire rate's pretty high. Even on auto slow, it's not bad. This is honestly just slightly slower than your normal American bars. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably in the neighborhood of 550 rounds a minute. Maybe 575. Crouching full auto, it's pretty controllable. Crouching auto slow, you almost can't miss. Let's go auto slow at crouched and at range. So you get the idea, you're going to hit most of your shots. Even on full auto, you should be able to pretty easily take out people at range. And like every light machine gun, you deploy it and it becomes a laser. The only downside is, if you keep it on high speed, I think it loses a lot of value at range. High speed is really good if you're, let's say, we're kicking in the door. Bang. Right, you get the idea? It's great for that sort of thing. Auto slow is way better if I want to deal with guys down there. Helps you conserve ammo. Then, let's go look at these boys. Starting with the Mondragon. I like this rifle a lot. So you get the idea with that. Then, this is the Scotty, the rank 2. It has sights that are similar to a lot of the Carcano rifles. And as you can see, it's actually very controllable. Second shot does shoot a little bit high though, so you might want to delay that shot like half a second just to let it come down. But the reload's pretty smooth. One more thing I want to show. So there's your reload with a partial mag. Still not that bad. Then this is our stand-in for the Beretta PGCR. It's obviously not the same gun, but it's going to perform very similarly to this. This is the Kurzgewehr. And this is just firing it on semi-auto. This is going to burst. And this is a 3-round burst. I'm pretty sure the recoil on the Beretta PGCR is a little bit more extreme than this one, but you're going to get a very similar experience to this. So, I'm looking forward to getting a Beretta PGCR. I'll probably get one at the end of the winter festive event. It should perform pretty similarly to this, so I'm looking forward to it. Then, do we have anybody else? They have Conders. I believe that that's everybody that we wanted to go over. Oh, the Pavesi M42. Completely forgot. So, this is the rank 3 Pavesi M42. I like it. It hits kind of hard. The sights are really open, and I like that about them. It does have a little bit of recoil. So you kind of have to slow down your shots at range with it. But relatively close, you can kind of just go to town on people. And for comparison, this is the premium bar versus the previous bar that we showed off. This does not have auto slow, but you can get a similar fire rate just tapping in semi-auto. So you get the idea. So, moving on to America. In their battle pass, there's some things that are missing in here, namely the BSA Thompson. I think everything else is still showing up. They have their own suppressed options. There's a suppressed grease gun. I actually think this thing's pretty cool. Same principle as before. I'm not really into the well rod, but the M3 suppressed I think would be cool to get. Again, though, like the other one, I think it's kind of a niche option. And then we have the Delisle Commando Carbine, which, if I had to choose, I would go for the other option with the grease guns. But if you were feeling particularly spicy, this is where what I was talking about earlier comes in. I think you could have a lot of fun. You get like 4 of these, and then you get 3 of these, and you load out a whole squad, like a whole assault squad with these. I think you could make such a cool squad that way. It obviously would not be the most competitive squad in the world. Like, 110 fire rate really isn't bad for a rifle, but with 9.4 damage, it's pretty low. They're super cool, though. I know it'd be a bit of a meme loadout, but I kind of want to do that at some point. The Smith & Wesson light rifle. So, my buddy Trey is one of these. He loves it. And I've borrowed it, and I've used it a little bit, and I've heard really bad things about it from other people in the community. Using it in practice, honestly, felt pretty good. But I haven't used it since Tunisia was a campaign, and that's where I used it. So, your mileage may vary. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's a gun that I'm interested in. I'm pretty sure it shoots 9mm pistol rounds. It shoots some form of 9mm, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. 7.2 is not much. You have to use it at very close range. The fire rate's 480. The recoil's honestly pretty good at 3113. For a submachine gun, that would be awesome, but this isn't a submachine gun. 3.4 reload's not great, and 20-round magazine's not great, but for BR2, if you wanted something unique, you could probably pick it up, but it wouldn't be one of my competitive choices. Moving on, the M1E5 Garand. I really want one of these. Okay, so hear me out. I understand that the goal for this is to give it to tankers. What I really want is to put it on paratroopers. Like, what I really want is a squad of paratroopers that drop in, and in my ideal world, because it doesn't work this way, but in my ideal world, you hollow out the front end of the grip so that it's only this round piece, and you make it so it folds down over the trigger. So this whole thing folds down, and you just have this little stick that hangs in front of you, and then your paratrooper drops in, and you like rip the stock back, and you click the little grippy-do into place. Look, this thing is the most bubbed Garand I have ever seen. It is beautiful, and you can't tell me otherwise. I really want to get one. But it's probably just a worse Garand in-game. I can't imagine that the recoil feels very good when you don't have a stock and your grip is whatever this thing is. But as far as, like, cool factor goes, I love it. So, speaking of other bubbed weapons, here is the Lanchester Model 1. It fires at 920 rounds a minute, which is really good. 22-22 recoil, not so good though. This thing's going to go left and right quite a bit, so you'll probably want horizontal reduction. 32 round magazine's okay. It doesn't really have a, well, not really. It literally doesn't have a stock. Um, eh, it's BR3, so you might see some value out of it. I've been playing a lot of BR4 America tonight, and I think we played against the Germans 2 or 3 times, and every other game we were in Japan. So it probably does okay against the Japanese. It's pretty comparable to Japanese submachine guns. The only real issue is the horizontal recoil. If you can get past that, it's probably an okay pickup. The war is basically a bar. I need to actually look at its stats compared to the bar, because that's something I've never done. I just picked them up because I thought they were cool. I do have 3 of these. Um, I have this really wacky squad that I'm going to show you guys when we go into the test part. So it's 640 rounds a minute, 2.4 second reload's pretty good. 2914's not bad for recoil. In my opinion, it basically looks like a ginormous M1 carbine, which is what I really like about it. The sights are pretty much normal American sights. They're a little bit different, but it's still basically like a trident and an aperture. 20 round magazine still. I kind of wish it was bigger, but it is what it is. It's a rank 3 gun. I like it. I've picked up a Farcar Hild before, and I kind of want to get some of these. I actually think they're really good rifles. It's a 19 round detachable drum, and that's what I like most about it. And seeing that rank 4 seems to see Japan a lot, if you don't mind playing into Japan, or if you like playing in the Pacific, this is probably a really good gun if you got like 4 of them and you outfitted a squad. Or even if you, let's say you got 3 of them, and you put them on an assault squad for your specialists, it would probably perform really well. Like I said, I've picked it up in game a few times. The sights are pretty deep. Again, it's an aperture with like a British-style trident up front. I like it. The recoil's not bad. It does have a little bit of horizontal recoil, but I don't remember that being an issue when I used it. I think it's cool. I may pick one up before the end of the discount, sure. And the T20 is probably the crowning jewel of all of the weapons right now. My only regret is that you can't buy it for gold right now. It's basically an M14, and it's amazing. The recoil looks like it's going to be really bad, but in reality, it's so much more controllable than you would ever think. The recoil is so misleading. I love this thing. I think I've got 2 of them. I was debating getting a 3rd one, and that's part of my wacky squad I was telling you all about. The last weapon that's not here is the BS-8 Thompson, which I have on these guys. I actually did pick some of them up, and the main reason for that, it's not the best gun in the world. I like it though, and I think it's very much so worth getting, because it's a rank 2 Thompson, and I was playing a bunch of rank 2 America, and I kept using like the Sten or the Owen or the Grease gun. At this point, the Lanchester hadn't moved down. The Lanchester is good at rank 2, but I was getting bored with these because I think a lot of the wow value or the fun value or the excitement when it comes to playing America is using Thompsons, using M1 Grands, and using bars. But because of the way the matchmaker worked, I didn't really want to play rank 3. So that left me with these and the Marine Raiders that I've had for a while, since like the Pacific came out. And I liked the Marine Raiders, and they also have 20 round Thompsons. Actually, let's find them so that we can do a little comparison. Let's throw that there. So, these are 20 rounds at 810, and they're 4010 recoil with 1.8 reload. These are 3410, so better recoil, slower reload, and 750 rounds a minute, so slightly slower fire rate. But with a 20 round magazine, I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, the reload does feel really slow in this gun. It is only 2.7 seconds, but when you only have 20 rounds, so you're going to be reloading quite frequently, you do kind of feel it. It's not the best or the worst sights. It's better than a lot of the Thompsons, because a lot of the Thompsons have this giant aperture that blocks a bunch of your vision. So this is a flat top Thompson, more or less, but you are aiming through the bead that goes back and forth, your like charging handle. I like them though. I recommend them if you like playing rank 2. So with that, let's get out to the practice range and check them out. So why don't we start with the BSA Thompsons? If you've used Thompson before, you pretty much know what we're getting into here. It's a good gun. And like I said, it's not the worst reload in the world. I might have reload speed on these guys, though. Not the worst sights. Like I said, it's mostly a flat top Thompson. And pretty much like every other Thompson in the game, it's kind of a laser if you just hip fire it. It'll get the job done. I like them a lot.
Hey mate, I'm shooting here. Could you stay out of my way?
No, apparently you can't. Anyway, let's change squads. This is my wonky squad. So I have 2 T20s, I have 3 wars, and I was gonna get a third T20 to put on the AT guy, but then I got one of the M1 Grands with the anti-tank grenade launcher, and I just thought it would be really fun to have on him. So, yeah, we have one of these. Maybe one day we'll swap it for another T20, but for now it saves me a gold order, and I just think it's cool, even if it's not very effective. So, let's start out in semi-auto. Looks like an M1 Grand, right? Sounds like an M1 Grand, pretty much acts like an M1 Grand. Also, sometimes this bolt doesn't close. It is what it is. Now, let's go to full auto. Isn't that great? This is the assault rifle that America's always wished that it had, and never got. Like, I wish we had gotten this instead of the M2 carbine. Don't get me wrong, the M2 carbine is fantastic. It is an awesome submachine gun, but I don't know, man. Compared to these, like, these are really nice rifles. Now, let's check out the war. It's a bit of a circle shooter, but if you shoot it in bursts, it's really not that bad. And it does have semi-auto. It really is just an alternative to a bar. As cool as I think that they are, it's probably not worth it because, well, we have the bar. Oh, and did I mention that we also have the bar? Oh, hey, and guess what? We have the bar! So, we basically have a lot of bars. And the war is really just another bar with a W. I like it though, I think it's cool as hell. But if I was to recommend these, my number one recommendation is the T20. I think my number 2 recommendation is probably the BSA Thompson, just because of the way BR2 matchmaking is right now, and I think it brings a lot of fun and excitement to BR2 that otherwise wouldn't be there. Um, Not that the competing guns are bad. I just think Thompsons are iconic, and I think it's fun to use iconic weapons. And I think number 3 would be the Farcar Hill, and the War's probably about equal, maybe a little bit lower than the Farcar Hill. Honorable mention to the M1E5 because it's the single best gun in the game, fight me. But yeah, I probably will have to get one of those before the sale ends, or with my gold order from the end of the winter event. Either way, I really like that gun. Alright, moving on to Russia. As far as suppressed weapons go, this might be the best suppressed weapon in the game. It's rank 4. It has a 71 round drum mag. It fires at 1,000 rounds a minute. And it's got 2011 recoil. Honestly, it's a pretty good gun, isn't it? It's got auto and semi-auto, but come on. Who's going to put this on semi-auto? You get suppressed Nagant revolvers, which actually works because the Nagant revolver is designed so the cylinder seals against the barrel, which is not common in revolvers, so you can properly suppress it. So, it's really cool. It is rank 4, so honestly, I like it. If rank 4 ever gets its own separate matchmaking, I think these will be awesome. Right now, you're competing with the rank 5 options, so right now, these ones are rank 4. So this is the direct competitor. Fully upgraded, it's probably close to 900 rounds a minute, maybe closer to 1,000. Actually, I'm pretty sure this is literally the same gun without the suppressor, so take that as you will. If not, it's also going to be very similar to this one, the PPD-40, which this one's a rank 5 right now. And then you've got your PPSH-41, which is a rank 6. So it has very stiff competition, and it makes it really difficult to actually recommend. But as far as suppressed weapons go, if that's your jam, this might be the best one. Tier for tier, the grease gun might be better, but I mean, this is a 71 round drum on a suppressed weapon. I think this is the other one that competes for being the best suppressed weapon, because this is actually a suppressed sniper rifle. And even though there's a kill cam in the game, with all the other chaos that's going on, I feel like there's a really good chance that if you shoot at people and you don't hit them, they're not going to notice that you're trying to shoot them with this thing, because they just won't hear you shooting. I don't know if it shoots tracers, though. A lot of the guns in this game do shoot tracers, and if this shoots a tracer, it's going to defeat the entire point of this gun. But it's cool. Also, Nagant revolver with suppressor. So, my buddy Ice, he picked up 2 of these the other day, and I was stealing them from his body and using them. And honestly, it's actually a pretty good gun. Now, using it, it feels like it should be a submachine gun. It says it's an experiment for a submachine gun. I wish it was a submachine gun. I would actually want to use it, but I don't know. The recoil basically feels like it doesn't exist. It sways a little bit around, right? But it's really not bad, especially if you slow down your fire. The damage is okay. 6.9 is kind of low. I think the other pistol caliber carbine options are like 7.2. It's got the same fire rate as the Smith & Wesson, and I think the 1918-30. It's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to recommend it just because of what they are. I don't really want to recommend any of the pistol caliber carbines. But if you picked one up, I don't think you would be disappointed with any of them. At least when I was using this one, it felt really good to use in like BR2 games. I didn't feel like I was at a horrible disadvantage. And being able to just sit there and go pop, 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 and just tap the triggers, pretty nice. Um, it almost feels like using a paintball gun, actually. Um, and you can put it on people who aren't assaulters. Like, you can put it on riflemen, engineers, and what you can put it on assaulters, but that would be dumb. Um, you can put it on your specialists in an assault squad, and I think it would probably do all right. Moving on, the Spitalny 1940. It's a rank 5. It competes with all the other fun toys that we looked at before. It's only got 800 rounds a minute fire rate, but it has a 97 round magazine. So I think that makes this a very attractive gun. Yes, you shoot slower than a PPSH, but you have a 97 round magazine. Oh, and there's also the lad. We haven't gotten there yet, but it doesn't show up because I think I bought all of them. I would definitely consider using this. I think it's probably a very effective gun. I don't have one. I've never picked one up. I've never used it. But 17 recoil with 10 horizontal is really good, and having a 97 round magazine is really good. And 800 rounds a minute is respectable. There's things in the tech tree that do the same job just as well, so I don't think it necessarily has a ton of value, but I think it's probably a good gun. Likewise, it's also competing against the AS-44 and the Fedorov, so it is really stiff competition right now. Between these two, 2011's not bad. This is going to shoot a lot faster. It's really, do you want fire rate or do you want magazine size? Being suppressed is really cool. I can't really tell you which one between the two to pick up. I think they're both cool. I might go for the suppressed one though, just because it's got a suppressor and I don't have any suppressed guns. The SVD-38, it's BR3, it's a sniper. It does absolutely nothing for me. I don't know. Do you use SVT-38s a lot? Do you want a special SVT-38 to put on Sniper Master McGee over here, who's the #1 sniper in all of the Soviet Union, that you've given the custom title to Wind of Death, Hero of the Motherland? Maybe you pick it up. For me, snore. The SVT-40 with the Booba. It's the Bubnov drum, but it's the Booba. It's basically an SVT-40 with a 20-round drum. So, if you want a 20-round drum on an SVT-40, here you go. Look, there's a recurring theme here with some of the Russian weapons, in that they're really, really boring and really, really uninspired. Like, I know it's got a suppressor, but it's literally a gun from the tech tree with a suppressor. Like, the Grease gun did the same thing, but they also have the De La Zelle. This one's a 9130. It's really cool because it's a sniper, but you get those in the tech tree. This is literally in the tech tree, just with a different magazine. And this may not be in the tech tree, but it may as well be in the tech tree as far as I'm concerned. I don't know. I'm sure there's some stat difference between this and the SVT-38, but honestly, I don't care enough to find out. If you're really interested in this, go compare the two, and if you like it, pick it up, but that is not a weapon for me. I did pick up a Gorov. I know from what other people have said, you're probably better off with an AV-236 or an AVS-40, but I also know that in the real world, apparently these things just didn't work. They malfunctioned all the time. But it's like a top-loading light machine gun that I can put on any rifleman I want to, and that just seems really fun. So, yeah, I picked one up. 880 fire, or 88 words, 880 rounds per minute fire rate, not bad. 4014, it's comparable to some of the bars. 20 rounds, again, comparable to some of the bars. It seems to me that it might perform a little bit like a bar, but we'll have to check it out. Lastly, we have the lad. I'm going to have to customize somebody to show off some of this stuff. So, why not do it with these guys? I think there should be enough to... Let's see, I think the lad goes on assaulters. Let me find it, though. Ah, yes, the lad. The good old boy. The best boy. So, I hear you like the RD-44. Let me raise you 50 rounds and give you the best boy, the lad. This is basically the Russian answer to the Conders. It fires at half the rate of the Conders, but it also has half more ammo. It's basically a belt-fed machine gun that shoots pistol rounds. What's not to love about it? It's 1910 horizontal and vertical recoil, or vertical and horizontal recoil, so it should be pretty controllable. 690 rounds a minute, not bad. Reload time of 5 seconds, brutal, but I'm pretty sure you're not reloading this gun. So, we will stick one of those on. And let's look at Mr. AT Billy, and we'll give you a Gorov. Because these are the only two Battle Pass guns that I have for Russia. Alright, let's check out the Gorov first, because this is going to be a first for both of us. I picked it up with a gold order a little while back, but I haven't actually gone out and used it yet. So, sights aren't bad. It kind of is reminiscent to using a Bren. To be honest, I probably would want to change the skills on this guy to have either vertical or horizontal. Maybe a combination of both. The reload's really quick on this, so I don't need to worry about that. I'd probably build a soldier specifically around this. It does fire really fast, though, which is kind of nice. So yeah, not bad. Still get a bit of recoil even with the bipod down. I'm not sure what it's classified as, so let's see how it does when you're moving. Besides the recoil going literally everywhere. It seems relatively accurate. It does not have a semi-auto function though, so you can semi-auto it, but that's using your Mark I fire selector. And let's see, where's the boy? Here's the boy, here's the lad. Do svidaniya, comrade. So like I said, no reload. Maybe if you throw on some sort of ammo pouch, but you get 150 rounds with this thing. I'll take it. I like it. I want to make a whole assault squad with these. So yeah, you get the idea. I think it's a cool gun. It probably isn't quite the equivalent of the Condors because the Condors has like nutty fire rate, but I like them a lot. It feels a lot to me like a PPS 42, probably because the fire rate is literally the same. Um, but it's like a PPS 42 with a bottomless magazine. So yes, I like. I like a lot. So if I were to recommend weapons for the Soviets, my first recommendation is the Lad, my second recommendation is the Lad, and my third recommendation is the Lad. But if we're being serious, number one is the Lad, number two is probably the Shpitalny or the suppressed this thingy. Um, the Gorov could be cool because you can put it on a rifleman, and I don't think it feels terrible. I don't really think it does the job better than any of the what's it called, the AVT or the AVS. I think the best use case for this actually is to take and let's say theoretical world, perfect world. You can buy whatever you want. I think perfect world you get four of these and you stick them in your light machine gun squad. So your first three guys, because it's rank 5, your first three guys have either RD-44s or Maxim Tokarevs, and your last four guys, your rifleman, your engineer, your AT guy, and I guess you probably can have an assaulter, huh? Alright, so three of them um, get these. And then instead of being a three-man machine gun team, you suddenly become like sort of a six-man machine gun team. Alternatively, you could pick up four of them and make sure that your last machine gunner is one of them. Let's see, machine guns, these guys. Alright, so first three guys you give your RD-44s. These three guys you give your Gorovs. This guy you could make a radio operator or a second engineer, and you could give him a Gorov too. And you could have a 7-man light machine gun team. But I think that's more just making like a wonky fun squad. Like the same way that I did my stupid American squad where we have two T-20s and three wars, and you know we've got a Thompson and this thing. I mean, realistically, we could get two more T-20s and we could have, you know, the Uber squad running around with all the 20-round not light machine guns, all the automatic rifles, because let's be real, that's an automatic rifle, that's an automatic rifle. Rounding things out, let's look at Japan. I don't think any of the Japanese ones. Technically, I've got the F and Model 1930s. So, the Type 1 SMG, it's 2213 at rank 3. I think you skip this because the tech tree equivalents are just as good, if not better. Let's look at the tech tree options. You've got the SIG 1920, 50-round magazine, just like that, 27.7, so you have like no horizontal recoil, take vertical recoil, and reload speed, boom, done. 5.5 damage, have to look at what the other one is. The Type 2 SMG, also, no, this one's a rank 4. So this one's a rank 4, but your 1010 recoil, awesome gun. Tokyo Arsenal is phenomenal, highly recommend. I am in the process of putting out a video. It should be up by the time this video's up. Very good gun, highly recommend. The Type 100 late is rank 3, 800 rounds a minute, 23.9, 30 rounds. So, also very good SMG. The Type 2A, only 30 round magazine, also 1010. It's basically this gun, just with a smaller magazine and no bayonet. So, also, good gun. And this should be rank 2. Yeah, the MP28-765 is also fantastic and has a 50 round mag and has like no recoil. This is a common theme with Japanese submachine guns. They're basically all across the board really good. So it's like low fire rate, low ish recoil, normal magazine size. Uh, kind of the same thing. High fire rate, you know, normal magazine, low recoil. Big magazine, low recoil. Big magazine, low recoil. Big magazine, low recoil. Big magazine, big fire rate. Big death for the Emperor. Awesome. Anyway, you get the point. This thing, it's fine. It looks-wise, it reminds me a lot of the one on the Premium Assault Squad, and I don't really like that one, which I think is also a Type 1. The FN Model 1930, it's a really good gun. We already established it's a really good gun. It's rank 3. You're competing with the Type 96, which is rank 3, and has 550 fire rate, and all around is just a really good gun, in my experience. A little bit high horizontal recoil, but you can deal with it. I like it. It's, I think, better than the Type 99 if you're using it for general purposes. The Type 99, I think, is better for assaulting with, and it is also a rank 3, and it has 800 rounds a minute. It just has a lot of horizontal. It gets a bayonet, though. Who doesn't like bayonets? It also, I think, both of these get 30-round magazines, so people will tell you that Japanese light machine guns are bad, but honestly, I think the Type 96 and the Type 99 are very, very good guns. One of them's just better at close range, and the other one's better at conserving ammo and fighting at the mid-range. This is 32-19 with a 20-round magazine. I don't think it's better than the two options you have in the tech tree. But, if you don't have them yet, I think it's an awesome option. You saw it when we ran through Germany. If you didn't see it, rewind the video, and you will see it. I don't think you can go wrong with it. I just think that the machine guns that the Japanese have do the same thing, are arguably better. I'll take 30 rounds over 20 rounds, and I'll take a bayonet. Now, the two Type High rifles, this one has value right now because you can get it for gold, but it shoots slower. Let's see, they're both 10 rounds, 3120 with 3.6 at 290, and this one is 2.9, 3316. So the recoil, I think, is a little bit better on this one, and the fire rate I know is better. So if you have a gold order and you're choosing between the two of them, pick the sword pistol. But in reality, the Type HE late is probably the better choice between the two, but if you just want to throw gold at stuff, this isn't a bad choice. The Tech Tree rifles, I think, are pretty competitive as well. Being that this is rank 4, it's competing with the Type 4 rifle, and the Type 4 rifle, honestly, is pretty good. I would be more interested in the HE late once it's, more available later on. But, they're both fine. And then we've got the sword pistol. So the sword pistol is a little bit of a meme. I don't have one. I really should pick one up. I've been neglecting my duty to the Emperor by not picking one up. It fills your pistol slot, but it does pretty much everything that a sword does. It's honestly the coolest, most unique Battle Pass weapon in the game to date, including all the ones that have gone away. It's so cool. I should have gotten one by now, but I just haven't. It's my own failure. It's basically a Nambu like any other Nambu, but it's a sword. It's kind of a meme, but I love it. So, if I was recommending things, practically the FN, Look, Practically, unpractically, here's my order. Sword pistol, sword pistol, sword pistol. Maybe you think about a Hiei late. Maybe you get an FN 1930 if you're early into the tech tree. Forget about the Type 1. This Hiei is fine if you want to spend gold on weapons for whatever reason. I don't know why you would want to, because it's a rank 4 gun, and the normal Hiei is a rank 2, and the Otsu's a rank 3, so you have acceptable options in the tree that are lower, but, you know, it is what it is. Get your sword pistols. If I had to rate them all of the nations against each other, I probably put the Conders as number 1. The sword pistol is number 3. I really want to make it number 2, but I can't. The T20 is number 2. The sword pistol's number 3. And the lad is number 4. I probably should put the lad above the sword pistol, but I can't put the sword pistol out of a podium position. It's just too cool. Practically, the lad is obviously better, but it's a sword pistol. It's not good enough to be number 1, and it's probably not fair to give it number 2. So, there you go. Let me know which weapons you have, if you've picked up any in the recent sale, if you're going to pick up any, if you agree with my hottest and spiciest takes that the sword pistol is number 1. But as per usual, get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.